Okay, welcome to Beyond the Box, home of your everyday athlete. We're doing a little smoothie talk today.
Yeah, a little good strawberry smoothie from our local land, Dunkin' Donut.
Not sponsored because we're not
sponsored.
cool like that yet.
Yeah, they were out of mango, so we had to go with the strawberry today, but that's okay. It's still great on this hot day.
Yep.
So tell me what you do today. What you do training-wise?
Rest day for me today.
Okay.
Last night I went to the gym with Omar, so
So that was a change of pace.
Oh yeah, so he got to run the show and we're still together, so there's that.
So say, who is Omar to? So Omar is Kara's other half, who is a power lifter. So the power lifter took the CrossFitter to the gym last night.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys are still talking?
Yeah. We did some bodybuilding stuff. He made me do pull-ups heavier than I wanted to do that.
That's awesome.
He made me squat heavier than I wanted to.
So is that why today's the rest day? Because of what he did to you yesterday?
Yeah, kind of.
All right, cool.
And also we had this going on, and Omar's getting a tattoo at the end of the day.
All right, cool. So today's the rest day. So what's the rest of your week look like on the fitness scale and the recovery end of it? So what's the plans?
Yeah. So today I'll get in some ROM WOD, just hitting mostly my legs, kind of doing some lower back focus too.
Because of yesterday, or this is just
we were holding some pause squats there in the bottom, and Omar made me stop and actually breathe at the bottom, which I realized I've never done before.
Right.
So
that's what's important. We all have our sport. I consider myself a CrossFitter.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really nice and it's interesting to go and work out with somebody that has a different approach to moving weight. So that's pretty interesting.
Well, yeah, and just different backgrounds too. I mean, I learned that I've been doing and teaching RDLs all wrong. So like every cue that I use in like what's the movement where you're on the ground on all fours and then you're bird dogs.
Bird dogs.
Yeah.
Bird dogs.
So like that T position that you're extending into, like that's what you want in your RDLs, so that you actually like get to use your booty. I wasn't doing that. All hamstring.
So
since I was, I don't know, 16.
Omar to the rescue.
Yes, Omar to the rescue.
That's awesome. So we talk about recovery, which is important. Another thing you brought up was the mobility side of it. Mobility is key to pretty much everything. You move better, you're stronger when you're more mobile. So how many days a week do you look at mobility?
I mean, a little bit every day, but more intense sessions 2 or 3 days a week.
An intense 20, 30 minutes at a time?
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. How about when we talk about the recovery day? Is it just, it's mobility and just rest, or active recovery?
Yeah.
How do you approach it?
So usually I'll do just mobility one day, maybe walk the puppy, something like that. And then the other day I'll do something more active. So rucking, swimming, biking, just something that's not going to like strain my nervous system, but it's going to involve a little bit of movement, so I'm not just sitting around.
Do you change the way that you approach nutrition on the days that you have those active recovery days in comparison to the days like when you lifted heavy the other day with Omar? Is your nutrition, do you tweak it?
Yeah, I mean, I stay pretty constant. The only time that I really change anything is like on days with a lot of cardio or something like that. If we're doing a long ruck, I'll add in some more carbs just to feel. But that's really what it comes down to me. Like for me, I just want to eat whole foods, eat enough protein, and everything else is kind of balancing itself out.
Do you
right
count
now.
the macros, or you just kind of know what that meal should look like every time that you
Yeah,
eat?
so every once in a while I'll go back and I'll actually count them, but right now like it's all like kind of those set portions that those of us who have counted kind of get used to, and so I know that as long as I'm eating enough veggies and I'm not loading 2 cups of rice into my bowl, and
it's hard sometimes not to load that 2 cups of rice into that bowl. It's tough.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things, like you get the portion that you're supposed to have and you eat it, and if 15 minutes later you're still hungry, you go eat some more. And
I got to say, the other night that I think that I loaded 2 cups of rice into my bowl. we had a friend come over. Shan came over the other night, and she made poke bowls for us.
Yeah.
And I was at the gym coaching, so when I came home, my bowl was already prepared for me. And when I looked at it, I'm like, oh, that's a lot of rice. At no time did I walk away from it, though. I said, I accepted the challenge.
Yeah.
And there was nothing left by the time I was done. But it would have been smarter for me to look at the amount of carbs I was throwing into my body right before or close to when I'm going to sleep at nighttime. Yeah. So it's just but I took on the challenge. I thought it was a challenge. So they threw that in. I'm like, that must mean that they don't think I can do this. And so
once it's in the bowl, it's a challenge.
How can you take it out of the bowl, and what would I do with it at that point?
Yeah. So or you get a bar, like someone sets a bar in front of you, like I wasn't planning on lifting that, but I'm not going to take weight. No.
But to me, that's maybe a challenge. So I should go ahead and give it a shot, and then need a recovery day the next day because I did something not so good to myself.
So what about you? What's training look like the past couple days?
I've kind of at the beginning of the week set myself. I always set myself a weekly goal, and it usually looks something like I want 3 days of CrossFit. Or more intense workout, moving weights, running, which is not my most favorite thing to do. But I try to make sure I get 3 days of that. 2 days of just lifting, where I'm moving heavier weight. And I do a recovery day for a swim. That's kind of my active recovery, and I like to. It's easier on my joints. I'm a 58-year-old athlete, so my recovery looks different than a 30-year-old athlete. So I like to get a couple days of swimming. I'd like to get a couple days of cycling in these weeks. So that's
shout out to the local Y.
Yeah, shout out to tell you, a local Y is awesome. The pool is awesome. A couple of my friends got me into. They called and said, hey, let's go to water aerobics. I'm like, say what? So I went to water aerobics and...
we're going to have to make a whole separate episode about that.
So I started, and what was great about the water aerobics at the YMCA, there was probably 20, 25 ladies in the pool, and they were probably 75 years or older. So they of course saw me come up. Who are you? How old are you? Oh, and they said I was young. And at that point right there, I'm like, I'm going back again because they called me a young kid. But it's the ladies get in the pool. They have these flotation belts that they can put on. It allows them to keep moving. So they're athletes too. They're still maintaining their fitness as they grow in age. And so I said, you know what? How do I make this something that works for me?
Yeah.
And it's an hour-long class, so me and Janice and Laurel, we don't put that flotation belt on, and we make sure we're treading or moving in water for an hour. So it's a great way to let the joints kind of take a break.
Yeah.
But I'm still getting a solid hour worth of trying to keep myself.
Legs, core,
yeah, and it's
managing the breathing.
And they told me I was young, so I keep on going back. So I'm like, heck yeah, and then swim a couple laps afterwards just to get that heart rate really working. But that's I try to set that goal. I've started probably about 2.5 months ago. I went back to intermittent fasting, and that seems to really work well for me.
What are your hours?
I don't eat after 6 o'clock at night, and I try to go 14 to 16 hours fast every day.
Yeah,
and it's not really hard to do.
Yeah.
6 o'clock at night, sometimes I'm like, I see everybody else snacking, and I do want to join in, but just take a deep breath and hold on, and I don't do it, but I try to get 14 to 16 hours in. It really seems to, my body just feels better doing that.
Now that I think about it, I think I actually kind of do that anyways, because I don't usually eat breakfast until 10:30. Like, I'll wake up in the morning, drink my cup of water, hour later, have my cup of coffee, 2 hours after that, I'll start thinking about breakfast.
So you're fasting without even recognizing you're fasting.
And what makes my body happy.
I do get up in the morning, and the first thing I always do is I make sure I hydrate. That is what your body needs, that hydration as soon as your feet hit the floor and you start moving. I can have a cup of coffee in the morning because I'm usually getting up at 5 in the morning or so to be heading out to the gym to coach.
Yeah.
But a cup of coffee, as long as you have no cream and sugar, and it doesn't break your fast.
Yeah.
So I'll have a cup of coffee. And if you hear, that's Brooke. Everybody sees Brooke down there. That's our
gym dog.
That's Beyond the Box's gym dog right there. So that's kind of how my week looks, and I try to do my best to stay with that routine and get those days in, and still make sure that I take the rest that I need. Cycling helps because that's a little easier on my joints too, but I can get out and ride 30 miles, still get my exercise without without damage in the body. It's actually it's helping the body. So that's usually where I'm at, throughout the week, and I try to stick to that. So and try to stay away from that 2 cups of rice in a single meal. But that's kind of where we're at. But all right, so we're gonna have some guests come on the show in the next couple of episodes. If you know a local athlete that you want to have spotlighted on the show, please drop us a little message in the comment section, and we'll see if we can't get them to come in and share with you their routine. So you kind of know Mind Care's routine and what we do and how we approach fitness and recovery. And let's get some other folks on here and share with you.
So people or topics that you want to hear about. So hit us up, hit that like button, subscribe, and let's
tell
talk
all your
about
friends
it.
about us. Let's do it. All right. We'll see you soon.
Bye.